Hiphoptictacticians of the world. We have a few things to go over this evening. We'll go in reverse order. Last up, we've got a good friend of mine finally on the line. We've tried to set this up for a couple of years. We've got IamULYSSES.
Damn, I'm that unreliable a couple of years? I was like, oh shit.
No. No, we're waiting for the right time. But it has to be 2 years ago that we were performing together, right?
Yeah, man, really, pretty much, yeah.
Our second thing we'll cover is a bit of exciting news, which I won't disclose until we get to that. But first off, our Canadian hip hop community lost someone really dear to us this past weekend. Bishop Brigante lost his long-standing battle with colorectal cancer and has moved on. And I'm sure your news feed was the same as mine the last couple of days. You can't scroll without, every 8 out of 10 things being Bishop related, which shows you how he really impacted this, like the whole country's hip hop scene. For someone that didn't really have any crossover hits, the amount of people that he impacted is quite remarkable. And it's very sad, and we miss him.
Yeah. People are flooding the timeline, rightfully so, man. This is somebody that put in a lot of work for people, in front of the camera and behind the scenes. You understand, and a pioneer in so many aspects of Canadian and Toronto hip hop. You know what I mean? So it's only right for people to give their flowers, especially when they're just due. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, yeah.
It's just really it's a sad situation, and I truly wish the best to his family. You know what I'm saying? The words his son put under his Instagram, that was a bit much. That was like I've got no words to say. You know what I mean? That was just hard. Like that's like once you read that and you realize it was coming from a son at the end, like that was the gut turner. That was the gut wrencher right there. Yeah.
So Nat won't be able to join us this evening, unfortunately. I just got the message there. So we did, in fact, have Bishop on our show. I guess it was 8 years ago now, and it was just a short interview. It was about 10 minutes long. We had something set up in a studio with Shock Lair, and we interviewed him, and Bishop was there. So it was like, oh my gosh, like we wanted to have you forever too. So we had him as an interview, and we'll tack that on at the end of this episode. I'm not going to repost it or anything because I think it's like awful to get clickbait off of someone's death. So anybody that's listening to the episode can have it, but I'm not posting about it or anything like that. So that's your bonus for listening in tonight. You get to hear the throwback interview at the end of this if you stick around. The second thing I wanted to talk about is this lovely lady sitting next to me here. On Thursday evening, we went to Sir Monty's and got engaged at the open mic night.
I feel so bad because honestly, earlier in the day, that was my first thought, was before even starting this off, doing anything. I just wanted to congratulate both you and Isabel. You guys are amazing. You know what I mean? Every time I pull up to an event, at times I'm feeling down, or I'm feeling like I'm maybe the only person there with me, or Murphy's Law before a battle rap event or something like that, or any type of hip hop event. You know how it goes. And then all of a sudden I walk in the door and I see y'all too. It's like, here's my silver lining. These I know people that are there and supportive, and just it's always a pleasure to see y'all. It's always refreshing, and it's awesome. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you. So there were a few moving pieces in the engagement. I get along very well with Isabel's dad, Marco, so I wanted him to be a part of the proposal. Awesome. He plays guitar very, very, very well. So we had him play guitar. Natalie, the co-host on this show, she was singing, and my good friend S.J. Riley, Sarah Jane Riley, actually, she goes by now. She was playing piano and singing for us, and I got to play Isabel's favorite song, and that's how it all went down.
That's amazing. Awesome. Very thoughtful and very musical.
It was "Till I Hear It From You" by the Jim Blossoms, which is the opening song from the movie Empire Records, which is also her favorite movie, and we've got
Best movie
matching 137
ever.
tattoos.
Man,
But enough about us.
Long ass time. It's been a long ass time since I've seen Empire Records. Wow.
Best movie ever.
Yeah, gotta revisit that one.
Mm-hmm.
So enough about us. We have from the 905 by way of the 305.
Yeah. I live the saga side 305 to 905. Here's I am me. I am Ulysses.
Ulysses. Okay, I don't know if I've ever pronounced your name correctly until that time I just repeated it after you said it, and I probably can't do it again. How often does that happen when you go around? Does anybody, like, you get announced every time you perform, obviously. How often do the hosts mess
up? Not often. Not as often as much as people think. It's more in my daily life. You know what I mean? Like the people that it's like the person never heard it, or if I'm at work and signing off on an order that we received or something like that. I'm in the yard.
Ulysses.
Yeah. Just give me the damn paper. All right. Give me the damn paper. Playing with my name and shit. Like honestly, so no, not people host as much because they probably heard my name 100 times already before they even got on the fucking stage. But it's just my everyday life. People that if that's the first time I've ever heard it or their first time see it, and it's so funny shit when they do that when they see the name for the first time. Like do the glasses adjusting shit like.
So I think I picked up on most of what you were putting down there, and hopefully the uploaded recording has it all pieced together at the end. I think we should switch to audio only. So I'm going to switch off my camera if you wanted to, and then we'll get a bit smoother audio for this.
Okay, cool.
Hey.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, that's much better already.
So clear. So
yeah,
clear.
really? Okay.
Clear as day.
Awesome. So yeah, we've known each other for a couple years, performed together a lot. We should plug this now. It's past by the time the listeners hear, but we've got a show coming up this weekend even.
Yep.
With Nate and Zays and Nico.
Yes.
And that's going to be at Bond Street Events, and we'll talk about it next weekend. It'll have been awesome. But I don't know a lot about your early story, so I'd like to rewind all the way back and like, where were you born, man?
Well, I was born in Hoboken, New Jersey, and I moved to Miami, specifically to Hialeah. No, actually, no, North Miami Beach. Moved to North Miami Beach when I was like, what was it, 6 years old? 6 or 7 years old, and then I moved to Hialeah.
Right from the very beginning, he's from the same birthplace as Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Wow. Okay. And then like moved to you said north part of Miami?
Yeah, to North Miami Beach, and moved there when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and then moved to Hialeah when I was 7 years old. And then I've been there. I've been there ever since, up until I had met Ryu's mother around like 2015, and then 2016 I moved up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about the hip hop scene in Miami area when you were growing up, and what gravitated you towards it.
Hip hop for me is some of my earliest memories. You know what I'm saying? Like I can remember being 5 years old and I'm with my grandma, you know what I'm saying, in the house, like in the living room and shit like that. Like she's visiting from Puerto Rico at the time. I remember, and all I can remember was seeing the video "It Takes Two." You know what I'm saying? Rob Bass.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that, ever since then, so imagine those are like my first earliest memories. Like the first things I can remember is Rob Bass and Easy Rock and It Takes Two, and that it was it. You know what I mean? It was just something I always gravitated towards was music. and performing, and then rap was just at the same time, like as I'm in my infancy, rap was like a bigger brother to me, you know, which is crazy because I come from a family of older brothers and an older sister. So, you know, hip hop was like another bigger brother to me because as I was in my infancy, hip hop was only, you know, was still a, you know what I mean? Was like not even a preteen yet, you know what I'm saying? At that point. Or like a young teenager. So it was like the guidance I was already getting. I was born into hip hop culture. I was born in Hoboken. Born, you know, I lived in Miami. So I was all influenced just by music. And that was a big thing that gravitated to me towards hip hop in general. And then in the Miami scene, it was just a thing of me having to make a name for myself. Just it's what you grew up in, you know. The different cultures and the different melting pots of different points of view that come down to Miami. So you're getting hip hop music from Atlanta, North Carolina, New York, Florida. So
when you got there, was it like still the kind of 2 Live Crew era, or had the Slip and Slide stuff started already?
Nah, it was. I saw the 2 Live Crew era and the Uncle Luke era, and then I saw as it started to graduate into Trick Daddy and everything in the Slip and Slide era and the Po' Boy era and Plies and all of that stuff. So I was watching all of it happen, you know. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I was starting to make music when, you know, like Book of Thugs, you know what I'm saying, was like in high school. Like Gemini was in high school, you know. So it was like I was getting not just the East Coast hip hop, but also the Southeast. So I was getting, you know, Outkast, Goody Mob, you know what I mean, Trick Daddy. This like everything was coming through the pike in Miami because there was just so many different cultures that we all gravitated towards, you know.
And I guess like Miami probably just as much as New York, probably more so than New York, had like that direct line straight to Atlanta, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, the direct line straight to Atlanta, and so many people from New York will come to Florida, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. So there was like the mixing of cultures along the East Coast. It happens a lot. It happens a whole lot, you know.
I can remember I used to buy mixtapes on cassette, and I had one that side A was Tony Touch from New York, and the B side was actually DJ Khaled. And
Crazy.
This was like straight underground hip hop, like 97, 98 era. And
exactly.
The sounds on the B side were much different than the sounds on the A side. And I still have the tape somewhere. I should pull it up sometime. But yeah, like I'm sure the sounds that you were hearing are much different than where you'd hear anywhere else in the world at that time. And before the real like social media internet era where music's not as regional too, right?
Exactly. So, you know, you're growing up with hip hop in a way that is like you get to see just so many perspectives of it. I'm seeing hip hop and how people are interpreting it in New York and in the boroughs, and how people are doing it in Jersey, and how people are doing it in Pennsylvania. And, you know, so all of these different points of view and different styles, I just took as much influence from all of it because I love all of it. You get what I mean? I never looked at anything as, oh, you can't be this type or you have to be that type, you know? It was more for lyrical content, you know? But yeah, you hear Trick Daddy bumping in a Chevy, you know what I'm saying, sitting on 20s, you know what I mean, riding down. At the same time, you had dudes bumping Outkast and Gemini. You had other cats that were bumping, you know, DMX and bumping the Rough Riders, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then you have West Coast cats who were bumping like the Chicano music and bumping, you know, like Los Delincuentes, you know what I'm saying? And all that shit. So there's so many different cultures. It's the East Coast, but like you can imagine the same sort of elements you see in Cali, but just flip it onto the East Coast side. And that's a lot of elements, you know, just interpreted in different ways. It's amazing to sit back and watch it, bro, because it's like so many of the same things, you know what I'm saying? You know, smoking weed, playing video games, you know what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah.
Chasing girls, you know what I'm saying? Like, so many of the same elements exist in hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Writing rhymes and police brutality and challenging the status quo. So many of these things exist still within the fabric of hip hop, but depending on where you come from regionally, what kind of sounds influence it and what sort of Easter eggs lie within that. It's really intriguing. It's always intriguing to see how people interpret it depending on what region they come from. And when you're in the South and you're from Florida, they all come to vacation in Miami, so you get a taste of all of them.
For sure. For sure. I used to love going to Miami. I went there a number of times, and it's among my favorite places in the whole world, to be honest.
I've never been there, but I would like to go there.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. You know where to go. It's fun. It really is.
So, what was sort of your first, I guess, step into the music industry?
Well, damn, man, I'm trying to think because shit, it goes back, bro. Like,
it has to be high school. You had to have done something in high school, like at school.
Before high school. Like I was rapping and jumping into battles like 8th grade, like middle school, battling in lunch and shit like that. Yeah, I was freestyling in those times, like fuck, man, like Beast from the East, you know what I'm saying? The Lost Boys, you know what I mean? When Cannabis had first come out, and Master P, Ice Cream Man, you know what I'm saying? And Ghetto Dope, like, it was so many different elements just meeting all in the spill out, man. So my first taste with music, I mean, goes back even to middle school, but my first taste in the industry, I was hosting rap battles at Club G's. It was also known as Gusto's in Miami Lakes. And I was hosting the 4 Elements of Hip Hop back in 2002, 2003, right before 8 Mile dropped.
Okay, and
literally, I was hosting rap battles then.
The list of artists that you mentioned there, I've never heard 2 of those mentioned back to back before, and I guess it's telling about your style and influence. You mentioned Cannabis and Master P. And it makes it part of the gumbo, right?
Yep, definitely, man. And to think about it, right? And who did I just say? Cannabis and Master P, weren't they both on 4, 3, 2, 1?
They were at one point, yeah. Did they? Yeah. And I don't know if they were both on the same version, but I've heard versions with both of them for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that influence was already happening. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There was so many different styles that were already coming out at that time. So living in Miami at the time of all of this stuff happening was sort of a renaissance for me. It was kind of like I could imagine growing up in the South Bronx in the mid 80s. You know what I mean? Because I was growing up in Miami in the mid 90s. And if you know anything about Miami in the mid 90s and all like the reputations precede themselves,
Yeah, definitely. Now, so you get into the battle scene, and I mean, I know the leagues that are in Canada. What sort of circuits were in that area that you were living?
Florida battle rap, it goes like this, right? You have the Elements League, right? So you think of Pat Stay and all of this, and you're thinking the direct influences from Pat Stay and the Elements League leading to Direct and Mad Ills forming Grind Time in Florida.
Okay.
So you had Grind Time formed in Florida, and then you have this entire battle rap renaissance that emerged from the beginnings in Florida. So, So you had Grind Time at this time, and around this time you had me hosting the rap battles back in 2003. Then Grind Time taking the F off, right? Because there was so many different freestyle battles and things like that. Like I saw championships from the Miami Pro-Am MC battles that Serum battled in back in the day and Recognized battled in back in the day. And that was talking about 2010, 2009. And then Grind Time look at everything that happened with battle rap then, that blew up. So at that point, I had won a competition that was sponsored by Trojan Magnum condoms. Pause, no diddy, insert where needed, right?
Hey, at least it's Magnums, right? It could be.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
DJ'd a show once,
Right.
and I had to stand in front of this banner that said "Man Wipes."
You're right. Like, you're not responsible for the product branding, motherfucker. But it's like, damn, you still gotta be this. So yeah, the competition, it was a nationwide MC competition that was sponsored by Trojan Magnum and Ludacris, right?
Nice.
So yeah. So the winners were chosen. There was winners for every region: the West Coast, the Midwest, the North, the South, and the winner from the YouTube votes. So the winners were from the West Coast, Dirtbag Dan. From the Midwest, Marv won.
Yeah.
From the East Coast, PH.
Okay.
From the YouTube votes, Prince EA. And from the South, a man named LMS, who now calls himself IamULYSSES. So, yeah. So all of us on that same thing. So I could talk about that in a little bit later, but to get to your point about the other leagues, at that point I won prize money, and I used a quarter of the prize money to start my own league, which is Art of War.
Okay.
And at the same time that I started Art of War, everything started unraveling with Grind Time. I don't want to go too much into that because I don't want to be slandering potentially anybody's name or dragging anything out there. You know, but either way, you know the issues that happened with Grind Time. If you know, you know. And at that same time,
Google's if anyone wants it, right?
Yeah, do your Googles. You know what I mean? Everybody's there.
You didn't hear the dirt here, but you can find it.
Exactly. And at that time, that sort of left a power vacuum in Florida. So then you had several leagues that popped up. You had my league in Miami, which was a continuation from battles that were happening at my church. God bless Joel Stegale, Catalyst, and Street Wars and H2O. So we had my league in Miami. Then you had the bar exams in Orlando. Then you had ETD, which is Enter the Dungeon in Tampa. Then you had Barbarians Battle Arena, which is Jacksonville and Duval County. So we were all popping off, and we all started doing our own events. And then at one point, we were all kind of like just not vying for control of Florida, but just vying for recognition as that league in Florida.
Okay.
And at a certain point, we did the retribution. We did the redemption card. And when we did the redemption card, that was 2016. That basically that made everyone sort of be like, okay, y'all the league right now. Y'all the league. Because we had Don Marino versus High Collide. We had Young Cannon, Big Cannon, Reaper Rel. I mean, the amount of people that we had on that card was out of this world. Yeah, it was out of this world. The full list. Spider Murphy, everybody, Drops, like the amount of people that were just on there. Max, who battles Chef Trez from Don't Flop, like just a stupid list of people. So we tried to form a coalition, and we had for a while we had the Florida League Association. But then that fell apart, and again, I don't want to get into details because that would be potentially slandering people,
right,
and that nature. But yeah, the battle scene in Florida and the leagues that were coming up, there was quite a period of time where there was some real beautiful unity and some real beautiful progression going on in the midst of what happened with Grind Time, you know, and not enough attention really gets paid attention to those years because there was a lot of classic battles that came from out of that. But Florida as a whole, it's the culture has just always been a little too backbiting, man. A little too double crossed and a little too two-faced, right. You know. And instead of trying to work with people, everyone wants to be the chief. You know, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks because everyone was just wanting to be they're the king, they're the boss, they're the CEO, whatever LLC they filed for their battle league. Whereas my vision was always and has always been that Florida, with all the combination of all the leagues doing everything at the same page, there is no reason we couldn't have rivaled any other top league or any other top promotion in the planet.
Mm-hmm.
We have too many numbers. We have too many numbers that there's no way it could not possibly work. But the problem is it's too many egos.
Yeah, which I guess is sort of to be expected when the committee's made up of battle rappers, right?
Yeah, no, battle rappers and league owners that wish they were battle rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's where it gets even worse, I suppose, right?
Oh yeah. When they want to flex, and you see it, man. I call it Diddy syndrome, bro. Let's just be real. Like it's that same sort of you get drunk with power, and then all of a sudden you just want to abuse people. Why? Right. I don't know why, but go get therapy, fucking psycho. Like the why doesn't fucking matter. It's the what that matters at that point. You know what I mean? So
definitely.
You should run for Prime Minister.
Wow, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Someone should tell the people in charge that.
Yeah, right. I'll 30 everybody. I'll 30 the whole damn cabinet, bro. Like,
it's not wrong. You're articulate. You stand up straight when you're on a microphone. You know how to hold a microphone properly. You can project well if you don't have a microphone. You would actually be very good at it.
Totally.
Thank you. You're not the first. Even my English teacher said that. She's like, if you were ever president, I'd vote for you. I'm like, what is it I'm doing? Like, I guess I'm just doing my best to be relatable. And at the same time, I'd rather just give people the truth of the matter, and then let's do some actionable stuff to try to work together. But if not, I can't, can't be bothered. You know what I'm saying? So now that's why I'm really focused on my solo stuff. As a battle rapper, I've done a lot of things that I've wanted to do, even with or without the major industry push behind me. I've become a battle rap I am a Canadian battle rap champion.
Oh yes, most
Canadian battle rap. They can do what you want with that information, but what you can't do is deny it.
Well, that's true. That's 100% true.
And yeah, sir.
We'll move to Canada shortly. I have one more Florida question to ask you.
Oh yeah, by all means.
Two more Florida questions. The first one, you had mentioned something about chopping it up with Nori and EFN before they were drink champs.
Oh yeah.
I want to hear about that.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out to my bro Hazardous Sounds. Shout out to DJ EFN. Shout out to Nori. Shout out to Crazy Hood and Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Especially Garcia was my first connection to Crazy Hood. You know what I'm saying? Garcia, like, just give you a little bit of history about all of this, because this is where it all stems from. Garcia was the artist from Crazy Hood. Before Nori Drink Champs, it was DJ EFN. It was the DJ EFN mixtapes that he was dropping, which I don't know how far they made it to y'all. They were Miami classics for us.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't buy any at Pickering Flea Market. That's not to say that there weren't any there, but Tony Touch, Baby Blue Sound Crew, Funkmaster Flex, DJ Clue, those were kind of my regulars.
Yeah, I got you. For me, it was like DJ Clue, DJ Chill from the East Side, DJ Arson, and some of the EFN tapes.
Arson, yeah,
DJ Arson, yeah, DJ Arson rocking all, bro. Yeah, trust my hip hop history goes back, bro. It goes back.
J Bull, one to the dome, one to the dome.
Man. DJ Chill
and then
from
the Cornerstone Primos.
Man, Primos, and dude, so much. But if I forget what
so Nori and EFN.
Yeah. So Garcia was the MC. He was the artist from Crazy Hood, and he was amazing. He, like, independently, he had sold his Antisocial LP. He had sold like 50,000 copies.
So would that be why EFN is Who's Crazy on all the socials?
Yeah, because Crazy Hood. It was Crazy Hood recordings, Crazy Hood Productions. Yeah. So Crazy Hood, like the Who's Crazy, Crazy Hood, like that was big Kendall shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I just thought when I seen Garcia, I opened for Garcia at a performance, and seeing Garcia performing, Garcia was fucking amazing to me as an MC. He was incredible. He was amazing, and I was starting to make my first mixtape in like 2005, which I actually got the files. So I'm going to talk to the original producer and see about releasing it for streaming. But Garcia, I reached out to Garcia. We reached out. Garcia said, yeah, for sure. And then he reached out. Dinaz, we reached out to him, and then Dinaz reached out to Garcia, and then they came and jumped on the track with me, and we remixed. What's the name of that song? That Big Pun had with Cuban Link and with everybody on the Capital Punishment album.
Is that the one with Black Thought on it?
No, with Fat Joe. It was Don Cartagena, the leader. There was the Glamour Life. There we go.
Glamour Life. There you go. Yep.
Glamour Life. So we jumped. So we jumped on the Glamour Life instrumental, and since then, and ever since then, we had all worked together on different various things and stuff like that. So Crazy Hood every Wednesday would have their meetings, right? And that was big, very different from a lot of the other independent labels and stuff like that. Like, you know, Po' Boy, Slip and Slide, Crazy Hood. Crazy Hood would have their meetings every Wednesday, and like, you know, that was the whole thing. It was sort of mandatory. Everybody would come through, chop it up, talk. You know what I'm saying? Work on some tracks. You know what I'm saying? Smoke some shit, drink some shit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the times when you'd be there hanging out and stuff like that, you'd be getting tracks done, you'd be getting some work done, working on these mixing and mastering sessions or recording or this and that. We're all chopping it up, next stuff and everything. You'd always see, like, you know, blunt guts and beers and, like, you know, liquor bottles and everything around the table and stuff like that. So then they started doing the podcast, and at first they were doing Militainment Crazy Raw Radio, and at that time it was just radio. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, satellite radio basically.
And so that's often how they introduce the show. They're like, "This is Drink Champs Yappy Hour, Military Crazy Raw," whatever you just said.
Yeah, Militainment Crazy Raw Radio. Yeah, that's where it started.
Together now. You're helping me fill in some gaps here. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. You're welcome. So yeah, Crazy Hood Wednesdays was these mandatory meetings that then turned that, because of those Wednesday meetings, spawned the Militainment Crazy Raw Radio podcast, and then from there, those podcasts started turning into Drink Champs, and they kept. If you notice, they kept the aesthetic with the beers and the liquor bottles and everything strewn around, because that's literally how the Crazy Hood Wednesdays meetings always fucking look. Like, I know there's Instagram videos from back in the day of like me, Haz, and Nori, and all of us like playing spades and playing dominoes and shit. You know, so like this goes back deep. Yeah. I'm literally on because imagine I was LMS. I wasn't IamULYSSES at this point. I was LMS back then. So I'm literally on the Rotate remix. That CNN did, that song Rotate with Ron Browse. I'm on that remix. Yeah, I'm on that remix. And that remix has me, Jadakiss, I think Jim Jones, like that remix. I'll send it to you if I didn't have it. But yeah, bro. I was on that joint Nori. I was on Dragon of Judah, the remix for Cannabis's album. Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Yeah. Nothing wanted to know. You were like, I don't know enough about. Well, you know what? You're gonna get some history today. Fuck that shit.
That's what I asked for.
Absolutely, man.
So before we move to Canada, is there anything else that we should mention in Miami?
I got so much love for everybody in Miami in battle rapping and hip hop. Absolutely, I can never not talk about Miami and not mention Joel Stegale and Catalyst Hip Hop. Catalyst Hip Hop is a hip hop church. A literal church. And Catalyst's founder was I forget if a reverend or I guess reverend. That's the best way I could put it. You know what I'm saying? But Joel Stegale, and he used to do gang outreach ministry in Miami. So, you know, tough as nails cat. You know what I'm saying? Good guy, heart of gold, pure Christian, strapped to the nines, covered in tattoos, did gang ministry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, real, shotgun preacher. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Good guy, man. Real good guy. And he would have, he would always have these Saturday nights where, like, pretty much the church, you could go, like, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and Saturdays, and Sundays. You know, someone will be there. That was this whole thing, was outreach. You know, having a place, a safe space that we could all practice our hip hop. There was cats that could go out practice tagging. That have, like, boards and canvases for them to paint. They had another room for the break dancers that they could just throw the music on the speakers and break and practiced, and we had a room with the stage and the mics and everything like that, where we have hip hop shows and church and all of that stuff, man. So he kept a lot of us out of the streets and really got us on a better path in life. And they actually have their own building now. They have their own church. I don't know the address offhand. I know it's in Hialeah, but Catalyst Hip Hop in Hialeah, founded by Joel Stegale. Please give your flowers to them. Give all the attention and praise to them, because they're really doing the Lord's work, and they're doing it in one of the toughest places to do it. So much love to them for real. Christ Family Hip Hop. That's the slogan. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful. So, last Florida question.
Yeah.
Why does every headline that starts with Florida Man end with a very funny story?
Oh, they're the best. They're the best.
Because man, it concrete jungle, dude. You are living you know, it's Australia, but we drive on the right side of the road. You know what I mean? Every fucking thing out there is trying to kill you, bro.
Fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? And when you have that sort of mentality that everything is trying to fucking kill you, there's something in the trees, or there's something in the damn pond, or there's something scurrying up your back, you just get a little reckless and fearless, because you're just like, bring it on. Like, we have hurricane parties, man. Like, you know, if it isn't above a category 3 and shit, like, you know what? Bring out the spliffs, bring out the bottles. You know what I'm saying? I got these candles, been waiting to burn these. I'm telling you, man. Like, it's a mentality, bro. It's really, it's just, and the problem is that mentality, when you combine it with the heat and the fact that there's no cooling off period, it's just heat and heat and more heat. You know, heat makes people do some crazy shit, man.
Sounds wonderful. Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, sign me up.
I know you love it.
Yeah, how long do I have to live there before I can qualify to be Florida Man Wanders into Traffic?
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I'm saying? Put it this way: the typical would be about 5 to 10 years, or you successfully handle an alligator out of your property and get it, successfully contained. If you're able to do that,
I would try to pet it. Like,
yeah.
That's how I'm gonna die, trying to pet something that I shouldn't.
Exactly. Trying to pet a swamp puppy.
It's just a swamp puppy.
Yeah.
Just a cookie. It's fine.
Swamp puppy. People don't realize how many times, how many news stories of persons losing their arm because they went into the fucking pond. Like, it's so much more common than you think, and so much more common than it should be. We don't fucking learn.
Yeah, that's
Florida,
crazy.
I swim in pools and the ocean, but not much. Like, mostly in pools where I can see the bottom.
Exactly.
In there.
Even I'm not really like Hollywood Beach, like that. Those are nice beaches. You know what I'm saying? Fort Lauderdale Beach, those are nice beaches to go to if you want the beach. You want to enjoy that. But at the same time, like, Florida's water's been kind of crazy lately, man. Like, I didn't remember it nearly being like this, Like, now it's like every other time it's something, man. That isn't like schools of like a whole building of sharks at this point, traveling up and down. Every once in a while, some random flesh-eating bacteria. It's weird. Florida was not like this before. You know what I mean? We've had some issues with Florida waters, but it's been a little no man's land lately. It's been a little treacherous. Wow.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach is looking good.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach is looking great.
Yeah, exactly. Myrtle Beach is looking great.
So Florida Man moves to Canada.
Yep.
Conquers the Canadian rap battle leagues. And winter.
If we put that'd be an amazing headline. That pisses off so many people.
Florida Man moves to Canada, conquers Canadian rap battle leagues.
Losing minds. Oh shit! People losing their minds. I want to do it just for the troll. Really hilarious.
You can do it like, remember Corrupt put out that album Corruption, and it was like the newspaper cover.
Exactly.
You can do it like Florida Man.
You gotta make it live action like a Harry Potter picture and shit. They gotta make it move.
Actually, yeah, that's the title of this week's podcast. Florida man moves to Canada, conquers Canadian rap battle leagues.
Oh shit! That's
And winter.
in winter. Like,
In winter.
In winter,
in
yeah.
winter. Holy shit. So
Okay, so you moved to Canada roughly 9 years ago, right?
yes, sir.
And you get here, and I'm sure it sucks by comparison.
Well, that's the thing, man. I was born in Jersey, so I forgot that I still had that cold DNA, so I was able to adapt pretty quickly. I personally, man,
I go to Florida for a week, and I can't adapt when I come
neither.
back.
I have no
because remember, I've lived with that Florida sun for 30 plus odd years, man. You know what I mean? It's ingrained in my DNA. So when I moved up here, I was like, wow, I could finally like cool off. You know what I mean? Go outside and feel cool again. Now, mind you, 3 months of that shit is cool. This 6 month shit y'all got going on is that's a little much. It's like, hey, okay, we drank the eggnog, we drank the coquito, Merry Christmas, y'all can stop now. Like, if you relax, that's what Canada's like, fuck that, you know?
Yeah, like you could have stopped in like West Virginia or something.
You know, you could have chilled out, you know what I'm saying? Canada could have stopped in February, bro. This April tomorrow is still fucking cold. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yep. But at the same time, it at least for someone like me, it really does make you appreciate when the sun and the good weather actually does come back. I feel like I took a lot of that for granted in Miami, because you just don't experience it from another perspective, you know.
Definitely. So you get here, and what was your way into the scene here in Canada?
Well, being my son's mother and like her previous affiliations, current affiliations, being my son's mother and her affiliations to King of the Dot and stuff like that, I just basically I had watched King of the Dot a lot. You got to remember, I was part of that school of battle rap where we were watching all the battles. You know what I mean? Back in that day, in that heyday, where when King of the Dot and Grind Time dropped a battle, it didn't matter what battle it was. It instantly had 5,000 views.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that's the real, you know, the boom. You get what I'm saying? So I was watching a lot of King of the Dot at that time, you know, because I had seen Kid Twist and him from the Grind Time West Coast battles, and then seen this beat Dumbfounded, and then it was just like, wow, to see like. I just love the back and forth and seeing how somebody you think is so amazing and untouchable can get humbled by somebody else with their style, and it was so cool to see. So, also before that, several years before that, there was a time where we were getting much music.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, in the States, we were getting much music for several years.
Damn,
girl. So that's how I got put onto Choclair and Chaos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of these joints from before. You know what I'm saying? And God, why is his name escaping me now? Come on, man. You know,
Cardinal.
There we go. Exactly. Cardinal Official. You know what I'm saying? And seeing when he did that song, you know, about the slang and everything like that.
Party slang.
Yeah, exactly. So I had seen that, and I was just like, "Oh, what the fuck? It's Canada!" Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get a taste of different hip hop and all that stuff. So we were always getting different influences. So it's not like we weren't watching. Y'all don't ever get it twisted. We may not know a lot about Canada as a culture and shit like that, but we were definitely watching the King of the Dot.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So when I moved up here and I was with my son's mother, I just jumped in. I'd already had my status and had my name in Florida. You know what I mean? I'd already done enough. You know what I'm saying? More than enough. So I moved over here on some humble shit because I'm like, you know what? I'm not from around here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from around here. So I just jumped in from the ground level. You know what I mean? I battled on the PYs on King of the Dot. and I just kept, battling people, winning, doing better, and came up to GZ, made it to the main card. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, I battled a bit, but at the same time, I was doing my best to be a family man. And then when the husband part of the family man shit, when the husband and wife thing didn't work, you know what I'm saying? I just got back to music, and then COVID happened, and then Bars of Death started doing the online battles, and all these online competitions came up. So then I just started battling there, and I was just like, you know what? I've got all this pent up, energy and frustration and everything I'm going through. So I ended up jumping back in the ring, and now ever since then, here I am, Bars of Death champion. You know what I'm saying? I've battled franchise. I've battled several times on CRB. I've been main event, co-main event. And I've done, and the wildest shit is, I've done it on my own terms and with no like major push behind me or no major machine behind me. It's weird.
But I noticed you go to Ottawa a lot as well.
Yep. Much love to Frenchie. Much love to Capital Rap Battles. Much love to Xavier and Frenchie, you know what I'm saying? And Nikki Louise, everybody that's involved on that side.
Beautiful. You mentioned earlier on this recording, but also to me in person, that you're shifting your focus more towards music tracks and solo artistry rather than battle rap. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, I've always been an MC, you know what I'm saying? And I came up with the principles of seeing that it was like, you couldn't call yourself an MC if you couldn't battle. That was the mentality that we had, especially in Miami, so the average motherfucker in Miami can freestyle. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand, you got cats like Recognize that came from our shit, so it's not like Recognize by himself, you know what I mean? With just rapping by himself. There's a whole culture of guys that freestyle and battle and have battled each other, in multiple formats and shit like that. So now I'm just not shifting my focus. It's just the fact that I'm just more interested in writing. I've got things to say. I've got emotions that I want to get off my chest, and I just really want to push the levels of what I can do. You know what I mean? And it sucks when there's situations that happen with battles where you get prepared, right, 3 rounds, and the battle doesn't happen, or the person backs out at the last minute. Whereas opposed to making music and the things that I'm doing, it's me. I put it together, I record it, I drop it, it's on my terms, And that's just what I want more out of life. I just want more of my life on my terms, So whatever makes room for that and whatever works for that, great. What doesn't, fades itself out, if that makes sense, I'm not fading it out. If it'll fade itself out if it's not serving towards what my vision of my life is to be.
Definitely, yeah. That makes perfect sense. So you've recently dropped your EP, and there's a couple songs on that are among the most honest songs I've ever heard in hip hop, I would say.
I appreciate it.
Perspective and the other being Me.
Yeah.
First, tell us about Perspective and your process behind that, and a bit about the song and why people might want to listen to it.
For sure. I really appreciate that you brought up Perspective of Me. You know what I'm saying? And to anybody else listening, this wasn't like none of these. I have no fucking idea what he's about to ask me. You get what I'm saying?
I don't either. I make it up on the spot.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure so everybody knows I had no idea. I did not even tell him. So the fact that he brought up that TikTok brought up Perspective and Me together, that's hilarious because Perspective and Me, that story ties into each other. You see, the entire album, the entire EP, which is Me, IamULYSSES, Me. The EP is available everywhere. Okay, I'm on Deezer, bitch. I'm on iHeartRadio. Okay. I'm hanging out with Post Malone, not really, but the music is there. The point is, the two songs that he brought up, Perspective and Me. So the entire EP was already done in 2020. The video Perspective I shot with B1, the architect. Shout out B1, always working. I'm just trying to get like you, B1. And we shot the video and did all of that in 2020. So
Oh wow.
So the album didn't drop till this year. Okay. So what happened? Well, COVID, you understand, the separation and divorce and all of those proceedings, being evicted, you understand, being served court papers at the same time that I was being evicted. That's fucking heartless. I haven't begun to talk about that one, but that's another story for another time. But going through all of this, I had the entire EP already done. But imagine, I had no way to be able to promote it properly or put it together or release it properly because of everything I was going through at the time.
Right.
So I hold off, and then finally I've gotten my life a lot more back on track. I've gone through the things I've gone through that I talk about in the album. And then I'm finally in a position where I'm like, okay, you know what? Now I can release it. Now I can really drop and give my music the attention, the focus it deserves, because I'm balancing all aspects of my personal life and my work life and my music life. So I finally am getting this together, and I still was like, it's not done. There needs to be another song. There needs to be something. And at some point in my depression and through the real gut wrenching stuff that I was going through when the breakup and the divorce was happening, I had remembered this beat and this sample, and I sent it to Kato Crates years ago. Years, you know what I'm saying? So between 2020 and 2024, right? And I was just like, damn, let me go look through the beats and look through the emails I've sent to. Maybe there's something I'm missing. And then I find the sample. And I'm like, oh shit, that's right. And as I heard the sample, I sent it to him, and then he sends me the beat back that he starts working, and then already the emotions are working up. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, this is the one. And then there's this amazingly talented singer who I've known from working with her on tracks with Serum, and her name is Fianero. And we have always wanted to work together. She's an amazing songstress. She does amazing music. She actually did a song, sang the hook for a song, because at a certain point we had our own little music wars, and we had like our own little musical verses of Hialeah versus Kendall. You know what I'm saying? So you had Kendall artists versus Hialeah artists and stuff like that. And she did a song with them, and that shit was amazing. It was for Kendall. And I was like, motherfucker, like, horrible. Like, punch me in the heart. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, my 2 tracks I played, you know what I'm saying? I won both the rounds in my verses. You know what I'm saying? Especially because they dropped the first round. They dropped the Little Wayne. They dropped the No Jaggings disc. You know what I'm saying? In the first round and shit. And so that was a clear. But like, I heard her in the song she did for Kendall. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, she's like just a Latina version of just like Mary J. But you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, I'm gonna work with you on something, Mom. I'm gonna work with you on something. And as soon as I heard the beat and I started writing the lyrics and the tears just started flowing, I was like, because imagine I went through all of this and there was no beat at the time for me to express all of this stuff, you know? Right. So I'm finally able to express that. The tears start flowing, and that's when I worked on the first couple of things, the first couple of bars. And then it was like 2 years later that I finally started to work on the bars again, because now there was a beat. You know what I'm saying? It was on some, like, I wrote the first 2 sentences and I just didn't do it. You know, the emotion was too much. And then I heard the beat and I'm like, yo, this beat is crazy. And then I sent it to her. And mind you, I hadn't started like writing yet. I just wrote a couple lines and never really went back to it. And I was just like, look, I just need you. I need to cry on this song. I don't know how else to put it. I need to cry. So I sent it to her. Sends me the first sample of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Face upon my dance for the journey. Like, and I'm like, oh shit, you know? Because I told her, it was like, you know, all that I got is you. Think Ghostface. Think, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then she sends me the first draft of that hook, you know? And then you hear the hook. Picked apart what didn't serve me now. I know I'm ready for the journey. Like, imagine that. Imagine the first time I hear, and I'm bawling like a newborn baby, bro. And I'm just like, finally I can go at this song. And then I finished that song literally a week before we get everything ready to drop it. and then she sends me the last piece of the ad libs on my last studio session, and then we get everything ready and then drop the EP. So I had the whole EP done for years, and then couldn't release it because this song with V wasn't done. And then as soon as V was there, boom, I had the song done in 2 weeks, and the album was out.
Yeah, and it's hard not to. I mean, as a listener, maybe not bawl your eyes out, but it's hard not to feel that emotion, at least when you're listening to that track that you felt.
Yeah, and that's why, if you notice, and that's why I mean the story of how they tie in together. If you notice how perspective and you hear how I'm talking about my son's mother and perspective, and like, oh yeah, we're gonna get back together, but first I'm gonna be doing this, doing that. You know what I mean? So it's like there's this hope, or there's still this despair, but there's this hope. And that's why people were kind of like, yo, did you still want? I'm like, no. Then you go listen to me, and then you hear the distinct difference. Like you can hear the beginnings of the breakup and the denial in me not wanting to lose someone that I spent so much time for. And then the flip side, 4 years later, after everything I'm gone through. So that's why you hear such a distinct difference in how I'm approaching things from perspective to me. So that's a little story about that.
Yeah, the whole EP is amazing, and I think we have time, so we'll play it in its entirety tonight. But those are the two ones that really stand out to me for sure.
I really appreciate you, bro. And I'm just thankful, man. Like I started this year out with, aside from a couple features, much love to Eddie Jones, much love to B1, keeping me active, even when at times when I didn't feel like I wanted to, you know what I'm saying? I went from not having any streams of my own starting this year out to now I have a project out with almost 3,000 streams on multiple platforms. And I'm grateful, man. So thank you. Thank you for me, it's just thank you for listening. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just grateful that people enjoy what I'm putting out, because honestly, I have to put it out regardless, man. It's cathartic. It's therapy. I need to be able to just communicate my feelings, and if people rock with it, I'm glad. So honestly, just more than anything, thank you for listening.
And thank you for taking the time tonight. I want to give you a compliment. We performed together a number of times. I DJ for literally hundreds of MCs every year, and I use the term MCs very loosely. But I don't mean it loosely when I describe you. You are among the top tier of people that do this. I've been in places with people before when you're performing, and I've been in the audience and they're like, damn, he's better than me. I'm like, he practices more than you. He lives this shit. Like, you have to have a passion for it to have obviously put the amount of time that you have into it, to have the articulation, the wordplay, the breath control. It's just always better than you think it's going to be.
I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you, for real. Like I live this shit, man. It's like I told you, man. It's ingrained in my DNA. It's from my first earliest memories. So I've always loved being able to rhyme and being able to perform. Always that rush, that feeling when you put something together with your words and you're able to invoke an emotion out of people. I don't take that lightly at all. That's why I really aim to give the best possible show I can give every time I'm performing, because I'm just honored and thankful that people would want to hear me. You know what I mean? Nobody knows if they're talented when they start out. Nobody knows if what they're saying people want to hear. Nobody knows these things. We're all filled with crippling self-doubt. We're all filled with anxiety. We're all filled with peer pressure and with media telling us we're not good enough, or fit enough, or this enough, or tall enough, or short enough, or whatever enough. You know what I mean? So the fact that anybody who's able to drown out that noise enough and be able to actually put together a body of work and put it out there and risk ridicule or scrutiny or risk whatever, man, my hat's off to you. So I never take that lightly, that people are actually taking the time to listen and actually taking the time to tell their friends or tell their people about my album or tell them people about me or what I do. I don't take any of that lightly, man. So I love what I do. I guess it's like a UFC fighter or any person that trains. Like I have a passion for it. I love what I do, so it drives me to want to be the best version of it possible, to entertain as much as possible. So even now, when we hang up, I'll be going over my show mix. I'll be going over my set list. I already had it emailed to you. I mean, like,
yes, you did. And thank you for that.
Absolutely. You're welcome,
If this
man.
guy who makes new music frequently, can freestyle on the spot. If this guy can send me his tracks more than a week in advance, anybody can. You can all do it.
For real. I hope I'm gonna be the poster child to make our motherfuckers feel bad, but nah, for real. Tighten up, man. Hiphoptictactics is one of the easiest people to work with. He's literally like, just send it to my email. That's all you gotta do, bro. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Just fucking send it. That's all.
Yeah.
You know? So I love to be able to perform. And especially now, man, rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace to Bishop Brigante, rest in peace to Pat Stay. You know, I'm now coming from a lineage of Canadian heritage, you know, not just American heritage, but of Canadian heritage of MCs that, you know, were mountains and pioneers of their stuff, and they're no longer here to perform. You know what I'm saying? Things like this weigh on my head. It's like we're all MCs, man. These are the things we think about as MCs. For the average person, if you don't know, these are the kind of things that go through my mind. So it compels me, you know, it behooves me to not take the ability to perform my music for people. Like, that is a blessing in itself 1,000 times over. So I'm always going to aim to give the best show possible, because just the fact that people are willing to come out and hear me, that is amazing. Thank you for giving me some semblance of being able to have a life that is not routine. Thank you for listening, for real.
Well, I think you said something there that a lot of performers don't recognize, and that's that people have come out of their house and made an effort to, like, they can do anything. Like Jay-Z said it at the start of a song, and it's very applicable to like any situation like this. You could be anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with me.
90% of society feels like Isabel's timeline. Let's just fucking put it out there. All right?
Oh yeah, totally. I am like literally the voice in your head that you know you shouldn't say, but like I say it anyways because fuck it.
Like, just pull it your fuck off now.
God, I should be everybody's Jiminy Cricket. Like, if I were the voice in everybody's head, the world would be so much more honest, and there'd be so much less bullshit between people, because like you would just know I don't fucking like you. It would just be a thing. Like, I don't care if you don't like me either. It's all good.
And that's why TikTok, like you were saying, bro. I just, like you said, like I said, how you brought up, like, people were coming out of their house to see me. So I'm never gonna take that lightly. You feel me?
Definitely. So before we leave, tell everyone where they can follow you on social medias and find your music and all that good stuff.
All right, man, I am Ulysses, y'all. Literally one word. It's like a Tribe Called Quest. You say the whole thing. I am Ulysses. ULYSSES. You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/IamULYSSES. You can find me on Instagram, I am Ulysses 305905. You can find me on YouTube, I am Ulysses. You can find me on everywhere you're streaming, anywhere, man. Spotify, YouTube, Deezer, iTunes, Apple. You know what I mean? I am Ulysses. The name of the album is me. And God, I got to shout out the artwork as well, man, on some Florida shit, bro. Shout out to my bro, Jason Florent from Trill Tunes, who did the artwork and did the cover art. Now NAACP Image Award winner, Jason Florent.
That's huge.
Yep. I mean, he beat out Pixar. You know what I'm saying? Like, he beat Image Award, man. Like, if that's not GOAT shit, I don't know what to say, man. Shout out to Trill Tunes, for real.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you again for taking the time to speak with us this evening. If you could please hang out for a couple minutes while the better recording uploads. And
Awesome.
for our listeners, check us out next week on CFFF, Trent Radio 92.7 FM in Peterborough, around the rest of the world at trentradio.ca. And you can check out previous episodes on YouTube, your favorite podcast app, and at doingthemusic.com.
Thank you, man.
What's going on? It's your boy Bishop Brigante, and right now you're tuned in to Hiphoptictactics. Stay locked in, you know what I'm saying? Take that mirror down. Let's go.
Another Hiphoptictactics exclusive.
Bergs, Tic-Tactic, and Bishop. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, you know what I'm saying? Peace.
Had a chance to see you tear down the stage on Thursday last week. Quite impressive, my friend.
Man, you know what's so dope about that? Shout out to Danny O for putting together such a impactful card full of, I said card like King of the Dot. See, I'm so King of the Dot. It's not even funny. For putting together such a great event full of star-studded pioneers in Toronto, and I'm just glad that Shotclair reached out to me and we got to reconnect and get back on the stage like we used to do and really put on for the crowd. I had a great time. It was so exciting to see everybody from Concrete Mob to Mathematic to, Danny himself and Maestro and being up there with Shocks and Eternia. It was incredible. I had a good time.
So how did you get involved with the whole crew to begin with?
I mean, me and Shotclair actually, as far back as I can recall, I remember, when his management brought me under their wing at Knee Deep, and Shotclair brought me on tour, my first tour ever. Right off the radio and off the block, he just was like, "Yo, let's go," and he took me right across Canada, my first major tour. And I killed that shit. And ever since then, he's been family to me, and I'm always gonna be family. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother.
So when did you realize that you wanted to be a performer?
Oh shit. Probably all the times I was getting in trouble in class, I realized that I didn't. I mean, I was pretty quick learner at a really young age, and I always thought I was funny. So, and my first real taste of shit I like performing was probably emulating like Michael Jackson when I was a little guy and stuff like that, and my family would always be really supportive of that, awkwardly enough, you know what I mean, just always want to see me get busy. And then and then it translated into music. Yeah, it was a big influence for me was probably like the older veterans in hip hop and guys like Michael Jackson, having an impact on me musically. You know what I mean?
Of course. So now, who are some of your favorite producers to work with?
Favorite producer to work with, definitely Rich Kid, DJ Chemo from the Rascals, Boy Wonder, T Minus. I like to keep it super homegrown. You know what I mean? I love my brothers that are working really hard and putting on, for the entire country. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, just this afternoon, I got a brand new, beat pack from DJ Chemo. I'm excited about it. I found a beat on there that I feel is probably going to make this new album, Kennedy Road. So I'm excited about that.
Tell us more about Kennedy Road. When's it coming out?
So, I've gone public with it so people know, so that there's no excuses anymore. I'm gearing for February. Might end up being March. Hope it doesn't end up in May. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really working really hard. So everybody that supported me this long journey, I'm trying not to let King of the Dot interfere with my process. I might have to battle again though. But if I do battle, it will not interfere with my album. It's coming. Kennedy Road is long overdue, and it's going to be here, and it's going to be great. You're going to love it.
For our listeners who aren't familiar with King of the Dot, can you tell them more about those battles?
Yeah, it's the #1 battle rap league on the planet. You just got to get on there, man. Get on YouTube and check out King of the Dot. Just put in KOTD or King of the Dot and enjoy that journey you're about to get on, man, because every new fan that jumps in, you can start anywhere, and if you pay attention to the bars, that battle's gonna drag you to some other battle, and then all of a sudden you're gonna be in this big web of you're basically, it's basically like Netflix for hip hop. You know what I mean? Like you could you could binge watch battle rap and like find storylines and shit like that. Just it's like a big web. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, and it goes beyond the battle raps too. There's some DJ battles up there. A lot of the DMC champions have been on there. DJ Shub, Vect, beatboxing battles. Yeah, it's a really great platform. KOTD.com.
Well, KOTD.tv is for our pay-per-views and stuff like that. But hit up YouTube and you'll find everything on there. There's like new shit all the time. We're always putting stuff up. And if you hit up KOTDrewards.com, we have a new rewards program where you can, subscribe and you'll receive all these rewards when you subscribe, like battles dropping a lot earlier, free pay-per-views, socks, all types of shit. Socks.
Get you some socks.
I'm definitely wearing them. Hold on.
Too bad this isn't a video interview.
Bro,
King of the Dot socks. You got it right here.
get that picture right there. Get that picture.
Bergs is just getting a picture of the socks.
So if you sign up for KOTDrewards.com, check out his Instagram and you will see what I'm talking about. It's lit.
That's at _Bergs_ Instagram. Check me out. I got a lot of respect for you, man. I don't know a whole lot about the previous stuff that you've done. I'm fairly new to the hip hop scene within the last 5 years or so. But I seriously was listening to some of your stuff today. Blew my KOTD socks off my ass. It was solid. It was grimy. It was good. It caught my attention right away, man. So you just gained a new fan today, 100%. 100%.
Check out Legacy if you have Apple Music. Check out my album Legacy on there. It's like a best of, throughout my years coming up, and just catch up, man. Enjoy that. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, point in the right direction.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thanks so much for your time, Bishop. It's great talking to you.
Hit me up anytime, man. Much love.